everyone. Welcome to another theatre vlog, another Broadway theatre vlog. I'm here with Jake, obviously. He was in the previous theatre vlog, so it's no surprise. We're at Spongebob, and the lighting is mental. You can talk, by the way.
I love SpongeBob.
This is number 4, and was it Hello Dolly 4 last night as well? Yeah, because I said it was all the even numbers. Yeah. Yes, very satisfying.
We're getting a lot of culture on this trip for Rukaya. We're seeing the American, we're seeing the old American classics, and then we're seeing future American classics. Tonight with SpongeBob.
Yeah, I am excited. And I'm so intrigued. Like, I just don't know how they've taken SpongeBob and made it a musical. So, but you love it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I'm gonna love it. I hope I love it. I think it's just nice to have a show that's just batshit crazy, isn't it? Like,
yeah. And it's not. I mean, it's not like a thinking man show, and it's not like high art, but
highbrow.
Hello Dolly isn't either. It's just very. So it's just you know, there's the genre of musical theater is wide. There's room for SpongeBob.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Next week we're getting the Jimmy Buffett musical. Like, why can't we have let us have a SpongeBob musical?
Yeah. I can't get over this lighting. I keep looking at us and I'm like, how are we so purple?
Oompa Loompas?
We literally do, yeah.
From,
but purple. It's like, oh my god, is it Veruca Salt?
It's Veruca Salt, that's
like
right. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad Charlie and the Chocolate Factory's closed.
I didn't see it.
It's for the best. Anyway, I hope that today we'll have some time to chat in the interval. We won't be rushing around as much because there was merchandise up here, wasn't there? So I'll go find the merchandise in the interval, and then yes, we will have a little chinwag under lighting that's hopefully not Veruca Salt lighting. But I feel like I think
it's exciting. I think it adds drama to the theatre vlog.
I'm so shiny as well, like, I don't think there's anything, no amount of patting.
This filter, can I have this filter like all the time? I think this makes me look more attractive than I did yesterday.
I feel like, if I'm like, no, I'm gonna stop now and show you the set and the craziness of the theatre design, which is really fun. I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, we'll see what happens in Act 1. Another colour playbook. God, the playbook looks mad.
I know, you can't even.
Oh, we'll show you everything later, obviously, under normal lights. Anyway. And I now just look orange rather than purple. I'm okay with that. How's your 4th time seeing the show?
It's marvelous.
Is it just as good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's so funny.
It's just so well done.
Yeah, like, you kind of think SpongeBob and you think, but it's done so well. Like, everything is done so well.
And they've gotten better, because I saw the first preview and then I've seen it like once every month since. And all the actors are finding more things, they're trying new things. Like Plankton sang new riffs today.
Yeah, because you're like laughing like at some things like like not how you do when it's a show that you've seen a lot, you know, when it's like something new and you react to it. Like I can kind of tell that you're reacting to things, and I'm like, oh yay, that's nice that it's still exciting. Like
yeah, it is, and it is the kind of show that makes you lean in to it. Like it makes you like you want to engage with it, you want to explore.
It's so funny.
And it's just so happy.
Yeah.
Like it's just so happy.
You need a show like this. Well, that's a cue.
Oh, I guess she's ringing it.
Yeah. Oh, and the chandelier went as well. That's our cue to go back upstairs, isn't it? Let's go. It's a really nice theatre as well. I was saying to Jake earlier, it's really nice that on this trip I'm getting to see like even more new theatres. So yeah, it's really exciting. And the way they've decked out the theatre, I mean, no expense has been spared in like the theming of the theatre. It's amazing. It's a really good fun night. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm so glad.
And now on to Act 2. We see what happens in Bikini Bottom. Don't swear at my viewers.
What?
You went like that.
This?
Yeah, swearing.
This is peace.
No, that's peace. That's swearing.
I've never heard of that before. Don't include
I think it's a
that.
British thing. Welcome back to the chatty section of the vlog. As you saw, I saw SpongeBob the SquarePants musical. SpongeBob SquarePants the musical on Broadway. I remember when I first heard about this show, I was just like, what? SpongeBob? A musical? I'll admit, actually, I was a bit of a fan of SpongeBob when I was a teenager, like young teenager. But I can't say I've watched it since then. And I was, like most people, I was just shocked that something like this could be a musical. But my friend Jake, who obviously I went to see the show with, he loves the show. He's seen it quite a few times now. And I thought, I just have to see this show. I have to see what it's about because, as I say, some friends of mine genuinely loved it and I trust their opinions, and I thought if they've loved it, I need to see it. I need to see what's going on. Obviously, I go into shows blind if possible. I try and not know anything or any of the songs or anything, and I'm pretty sure I managed to do this with SpongeBob. I'm fairly sure I managed to avoid 98%. I actually did go to a panel that they did at Broadway Con that day, so before seeing the show, because yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to go along. I didn't want to miss out on it just because I didn't want to be spoiled. They did play a small trailer of the show, but I literally put my head down and didn't watch it, so it was just nice to hear the cast talking about it, to be honest, and kind of get a sense of the cast and how they felt about the show and the sort of development of the show. That was really interesting to hear. But yeah, I'd avoided listening to any of the songs. I did know that it was kind of a collaboration, I guess, because each of the songs for the show is written by like a popular artist. So I was really intrigued as to how that was going to work, because obviously normally with a musical you have generally like music and lyrics by one or two people, and then like the book by someone else, or sometimes it's one small group of people doing everything. And this was very different because, you know, you've got different styles, different intentions going into every song. So I was thinking, how the hell are they going to do this? How are they going to form a musical with all of the musical numbers being by different people? So yeah, I was very intrigued. I'd heard really good things about the cast, and as I say, I knew people that had really enjoyed it. So I went into it with an open mind. It was actually a really fun, bonkers night at the theatre. Obviously, the story isn't the most complex thing in the world. It is what it is, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. And especially considering that obviously a lot of families and kids will go see this, it's the perfect show for that. To give you a sense of the story, it's obviously set in Bikini Bottom, and it's basically about a volcano that is set to erupt and it's gonna destroy the whole town. So SpongeBob puts it on himself to try and find a way to save the town and not just be a simple sponge. So as I say, the story is very light and very easy to follow. Something I love about what they've done with this show is that they've made it, like, the whole experience so fun. Like, you walk into the theatre and the way they've themed, like, the entire theatre and auditorium is incredibly fun and very visual. And obviously if you're bringing kids to the show, you need that because it makes it so much more exciting and engaging for them to really feel like immersed in that world before the show's even started. For example, in one of the foyers leading up to the auditorium, they have a chandelier that's shaped like a pineapple, and all the theming of the merchandise stands is obviously like underwater Bikini Bottom themed. And then when you go into the auditorium itself, there's just all this incredible theming and decoration around. I really loved they had these like neon I guess lights, kind of coral shape-esque, and they were like staggered up throughout the auditorium, so even if you were in the balcony you could still see that. There was like something for everyone, no matter where you were in the theatre. The set design of this show was so good. It was really creative. As I think I mentioned in one of the clips earlier, they had the proscenium and it was obviously themed underwater style because obviously, but they were using stick floats and what else they're using? They were using loads of random things still related to underwater seaside type stuff, and it just made it look really cool. And then before the show started, I was a bit confused because they had, I'm not really sure how to describe this, but they had stuff at the side of the proscenium, which then made sense further on in the show. It kind of looked like the game, is it called Mousetrap? It kind of looked like that, but like massive. And it looked really cool, and it made sense as you went further on into the show, but at the start it confused me. As you would have seen at the start of the vlog as well, the lighting was just insane. So I'm gonna move on to talk about the cast now because I thought they were incredible and obviously need to be spoken about. So Ethan Slater was playing the role of SpongeBob. When I first heard this show was gonna be a thing, I was like, so how are they gonna do it? Like, are they gonna be in is he gonna be dressed as like a sponge basically? Is he gonna have to have like a box costume type thing going on? But thankfully, no. They've been really clever actually. It's a lot to do with the costumes and the mannerisms. So obviously he's dressed as SpongeBob would be dressed, but is a human, obviously. And I think it's a really like, not classy, no offense SpongeBob, but I don't think it's classy, but it's very clever in the way they've done that, because you know, looking at him, you're like, oh, of course he's playing the role of SpongeBob, but he doesn't look like a sponge. I thought that was really good. And yeah, vocally, the way he's doing all of the SpongeBob mannerisms and the little sounds, I mean, he's absolutely got this character on point. It was so good. His voice is really great as well. I really enjoyed listening to him, obviously, in the show and on the cast recording. I honestly don't know how long Ethan has been with the show, if he's been with it from the start or, you know, but I feel like he really gets it. He gets what it means to be SpongeBob. So yeah, it was really great to watch him in that role. Danny Skinner plays the role of Patrick, and he was so funny. Like, I was howling with laughter at points. Again, it's so funny watching these like characters that you know as cartoons being played by humans. But they've really translated it so well, and yeah, he was just hilarious. Gavin Lee plays the role of Squidward, who, I mean, he's such a funny, sarcastic character. I feel like I relate to Squidward quite a lot of times, and he absolutely has the best 11 o'clock number of the show. Oh my god, he steals the show. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is fabulous. Lily Cooper plays the role of Sandy Cheeks, and oh my goodness, I've become obsessed with her voice. She has such a great voice. I'm fully obsessed. I've been like one of those people on YouTube, just like finding anything that I can to listen to her. And yeah, again, it's so weird watching these characters on stage and them getting all of the little mannerisms and little things. And I loved that, obviously, the character of Sandy, she has the like spacesuit helmet on, but obviously she doesn't wear that in the show, but she's got her afro that like frames that. Oh, I love it. All these little subtleties that I loved. We had Brian Ray Norris playing the role of Mr. Krabs, and again, he was one of those people that really got like the weird little sound quirks of the character down. Like, it's almost spooky in a way, but yeah, no, he was really good. And a shock for me, someone who I didn't realise was in this show, very nice surprise to see, was Wesley Taylor, who I remember watching in Smash way back when. He played the role of Plankton, and that was so surprising to see him. Like, I fangirled a little bit at stage door when I met him, and it's so nice to see people like that on stage. I feel really lucky with this trip, actually. I managed to see quite a few people that I've like really adored in Theatreland actually like on stage, and then potentially meet them as well. It was a pretty epic trip, not gonna lie. Someone else who I absolutely have to mention, and I'm gonna read her name out because otherwise I'm gonna get it wrong. Probably gonna get it wrong anyway, but she played the role of Pearl Krabs. Jalen Christine LaJosie, is that right? I don't know. Her voice was insane. So I think it was in the whatever song it is where Mr. Krabs is singing like all about money and stuff. I think it's called Daddy Can You Hear Me? And she just took her voice to places that I didn't know a human being could take their voice to. I genuinely like recoiled in my seat with shock and wonder, and I'm still like thinking about it nowadays. Like, it's been a couple of months since I saw the show, and I'm genuinely like, whoa. How did she do those things that she was doing? Absolutely blown away. She was so fantastic. I think she's really young as well. I think I remember saying to Jake like how amazing she was, and I'm pretty sure that he said that she was quite young. I'm so jealous of all of these people and their talents. God damn it. As I mentioned, the music for this show has been written by loads of different artists, so it very easily could have been a hot mess, I think, but they've done it really well. And especially in terms of like theming it for the characters in a sense. So for example, there's a song called Chop to the Top, which is sung by mainly like whoever's playing Sandy Cheeks. And Sandy Cheeks has kind of like a sort of southern accent, I would say. And then in that song, the style of music, it kind of sounds a bit kind of country style a bit. So it's things like that where it actually really fits the character well. So even though a lot of the songs obviously sound quite different because they're coming from different music artists, they're not tailoring themselves to one style, they're all putting their own
like touches and styles in, it actually works really nicely with the characters. And it also means, I feel like, you know, like some people go into a musical and they're like, well, I didn't like the music because it was all the same style. Whereas because this musical has a lot of different styles, I feel like there's got to be at least one song that you would enjoy. At least one, anyway. For the most part, it's also really kind of modern and a little bit kind of poppy at times. So obviously for a kind of a generic audience, not to sort of generalize people, but you know, it's kind of hard to dislike that music, like heavily dislike it for the most part in a musical like this that you know is going to attract a more general audience. I personally really enjoyed it, you know. I think if you don't treat it like a really serious piece, you know, it's a really fun show, and that's what you should go in kind of expecting in a way. It's not going to change the world, I don't think. I really appreciate what they've done with it actually, because I think it was at the panel at Broadway Con when they were talking about it. Nickelodeon, obviously, who are owners of SpongeBob, they easily could have made a piece of rubbish and not really tried too much, but they really wanted to try and make something good. And you know, when a company has that much money, it could have easily been rubbish, and I don't think it's rubbish. I really enjoyed it. I'd happily go see it again, you know, like I had a good night. I had a really good time at the theatre. What more can you ask for? The cast recording is on Spotify and I would recommend listening to it. Like there are some absolute bops in this show. I really enjoyed listening to it, and it was wonderful to go and see the show with Jake because I knew he loved it, and that always helps, I think, going to a show with someone who already loves it, because it automatically like makes you happier about the show before you've even seen it. But I think even so, if I'd gone to see it on my own, I would have had a really good time. I found it really funny. I really appreciated the sort of effort that went into making the show, and the cast were really fantastic. So yeah, I would highly recommend going to see it, and the tickets are pretty affordable as well. Something I hadn't mentioned, we sat in the dress circle, or the mezzanine in American terms. We had a really good view actually. I think it probably would be fun to be like at the front of the stalls to see all the details in the costume and like the set design, but we had a great seat. I think it's quite a nice theatre. Even if you are in the top levels, you'll still have a nice view, but obviously I only know the experience from the dress circle, the mezzanine. But I had a great time. It was so fun. I would love to know if you've seen the Spongebob Squarepants musical on Broadway. Do let me know in the comments below if you have and what you thought of the show. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of me in the future. I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you very soon. Bye!